I was yearning for something deeper, richer, fuller. I was in Cana, and the wine had run out. These startling but easy to identify sentiments were spoken aloud by spiritual writer Brian Zahnd. Brian then quotes Bilbo Baggins from Lord of the Rings with these words: "I felt thin, sort of stretched, like butter scraped over too much bread." Finally, Zahnd exclaims, "I wanted vintage wine from old vines." According to a newspaper article I read last week, Irish wines are on the up, but nobody will be retiring rich. The article reveals, somewhat surprisingly, that there are more than a dozen vineyards now producing wine in Ireland. Apparently, global heating is pushing the viability of the grape ripening northwards. While the mean temperature for Ireland has increased by 0.7%, it has not necessarily warmed the souls of modern Irish citizens. Actress and podcaster Hilary Rose from the series Young Offenders recently shared, "I was completely exhausted, on the floor, mind and soul." Rose realized that she'd become all too familiar with the modern day malaise of musts. Hilary experimented with everything from breath work and cold water immersion to plant medicine and medication. In a recent interview, she quotes Marcus Aurelius, who coached, "When you rise in the morning, think of what precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." Jennifer O'Connell was a barrister. Aoife Matthews was an investment banker. And Louise O'Riordan was a brand developer. In 2020, the pandemic's enforced pause prompted not only a re-evaluation of their life goals, but a realization that they were all exhausted. They and their peers juggle small kids, frantic careers, aging parents. They were determined to find a solution to a problem facing so many women. They initiated Sisterly, a supplement that can work for every woman. Broadcasting icon Mary Kennedy hints at tiredness and attentiveness to the dips that can occur in our mental health. Though retired, she speaks of the joy of working, but not too much. Mary argues that aging is a gift. She didn't want to retire because she didn't know if she was going to be just left on the shelf. Her advice now for those approaching retirement is, I would say to people, if you are open and if you are still enthusiastic about things, what's on the other side of retirement is just as exhilarating and interesting. She quotes former broadcaster Gay Byrne as saying, "The graveyard is full of people who thought they were indispensable." Then Mary quotes from Le Petit Prince, "There is no hope of joy except in human relations." Hilary Rose began blogging, and the overwhelming positive reaction prompted her to launch a podcast called Live Wild Podcast. Hilary is an advocate of decluttering. She repeats, declutter your life, declutter your house, declutter your workspace, declutter your kitchen, declutter your fridge, declutter everything, because that's how you will see what you need and what you don't need. The wine runs out at the wedding in Cana in this weekend's gospel. Is this a metaphor for us all as we age and develop a sense that the best times in our lives are behind us? Is the wine running out a way of talking about our world, which for the past 2 centuries has dined out lavishly on the riches of nature, drank deeply from every well of water, oil, and wine available, and drained creation's cellars dry, and only now is noting the ruinous effect our excessive consumption of everything is having on everything? Sisterly discovered supplements, Hilary Rose decluttering, Brian Zahnd Jesus. Zahnd was at an all-time low, wanting vintage wine from old vines, and through prayer and reading, he reconnected with Jesus. And from that moment onwards, it was as if in his life water began to turn into wine. Exhaustion is all too common today. So many people feel like butter scraped over too much bread. No matter how late at night at a wedding or in our journey through life, Mary, the mother of Jesus, encourages us to be attentive to Jesus. It might sound like old hat when compared to breath work and cold water immersion. However, as Mary Kennedy shares, old can be good. Mary reasons, first you are young, then you are middle-aged, then you are old. Now you are wonderful, because you are the accumulation of all those stages, that in 2025, water may turn into wine for each of us. Amen.